Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship. Thank you for joining us. We're virtual only. We're based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. There are people that give you the news very well. John Haller does the best at that. I do the thought behind the thought. What you need to know. What's your philosophy of this eschatology of the end of days? What do you need to know? Your reality, our existence, things like that. We're solving a little piece of Revelation 13 today. It will be the players. The players say the beast or the false prophet, those types of players, and other players that are involved in first delivering some kind of civil wars or wars, then peace after that. And so it's biblical, and we'll get through all of that. So I'm telling you that Trump wants to be on Mount Rushmore, and that is fitting in terms of Revelation 17. Elon wants to be one of the beasts. He's not going to be a beast, but he may be the one that delivers the mark of the beast. He seems to be that guy. And then Putin is involved. He could end up nuking Ukraine or other places right now. And so, and ultimately, I think what they're going to do is ratchet up for rumors of wars, so to speak, and then they will say peace and safety after that. There has to be that time. So it's odd because normally the conservatives are the war hawks and the liberals are going to be the peacemongers, the peace, whatever they are, the doves, we'll call them that. But Biden is stoking up war, and I believe that Obama is behind this too. It's just that you can't pin anything to him ever. I mean, he's just Mr. Teflon. But they're war hawks, okay? And they're helping Iran to really set up for other regional wars. They're really destabilizing. So it's just odd to see that, guys. Normally, I've been around 66 years, and when I was a kid, the liberals were the pacifists and the conservatives were well, some of them were always the military-industrial complex, but generally the conservatives were more the war hawks, you know? So it's interesting. So what are we doing here today? We're comparing and contrasting the wars, civil wars, things like that, with this peace and safety that is in the Bible. So we're giving you the Bible, we're giving you some prophecy and some news. So back in 1938, you had Chamberlain going and meeting with Hitler on around the 4th of Tishri of 5699. That was September 29th of 1938. And he thought he brought back peace and safety. Well, he was a a conned man, you know. Hitler was going to start this war, and it didn't matter. Okay, so the verses that I want you to be aware of are from 1 Thessalonians 5:2-4, and then Ezekiel 38:11. So peace and safety. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child. That's kind of where we're at right now. And they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. So I'm talking about purchasing a cave. I'll show you in 2 slides what I'm talking about. Why am I talking about caving and caves and prices? Okay, so what I'm getting at today overall with the whole video is today is Shemini Atzeret for the sighted moon Jeroboam divided calendar, found in 1 Kings 12. Okay, so you have Rehoboam, who's the tax guy, and then you have Jeroboam, who set up the false Sukkot up north, and he had golden calves in Dan and Bethel. So basically, I had been saying it seems like based on the Olympics, the Paris Olympics during the summertime here, that the globalists were going to try to stoke up wars and civil wars and skirmishes. I just thought there would be lots of street skirmishes during this week, and we're ending it today. So this is the 8th day. The 7th day would have been on Sabbath here, and so and today is the oh goodness, I'm blanking on what day it is. The 23rd, 24th of November. So we're almost up to Thanksgiving. So I'm sensing that I predicted civil wars or civil type skirmishes, things like that, but we may have World War. I mean, it is on the doorstep. So in 2012, I was just doing research, writing my book, things like that. America was divided, and Obama was deepening the divide. The signs were Halloween of 2012, and a man came to our church during the summer and said there will be, a storm this fall. It will occur on the after Sukkot, but before the end of October, and the sign will be snow and a broom. and it showed that we were in a divided election, divided country with Obama winning. The huge snowstorm hit after Hurricane Sandy, and it was all prophesied perfectly and explained by 1 Kings 12 by another man. So two men came to me with that information. By 2024, and keep in mind, 2024 seems to be imitating 2012 in some ways. Okay, but the divide has increased. Obama's peculiar deconstruction has exacerbated the divisions. I'm sensing, and I call him speed bump Trump. Now, that's not a prophecy. That just is that the globalists have to win out. And Trump has to have his time to thwart the globalists for a period of time and give us some form of peace. It won't last, but there's Trump, Putin, MBS, which is the Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia. He's the prince. He will not be king for a while here, but it'll happen. Elon, Jared, others, they're working secretly to create a short-lived peace in our times. It will resemble 1 Thessalonians 5:3 and Ezekiel 38:11. Like Neville Chamberlain in that moment, it will overflow into Israel and Iran eventually. It'll probably start with Putin and Ukraine. Ultimately, the beast system will overwhelm them all these nationalists, per Revelation 13. So Elon will be adored like a god of world peace. Jared will be the quiet hero laying low. MBS will consolidate control of Saudi Arabia and the Muslim world, and probably he will win the peace award. But you never know. Trump and Elon and MBS are, and in some ways Jared, but he doesn't want it. He wants to stay quiet. MBS wants the award. Trump would use his gravitas to engineer deals with Judah and Israel, creating a false temporary peace. Gog will happen eventually. It says here in Ezekiel 38:11, I will go to a peaceful people who dwell safely. So I want to cite Torah just so you can see. John Heller cited this morning. It was very intriguing. So Abraham got up, bowed down before the people of the land, the sons of Heth. Heth means terrorists, okay? And spoke to them, if it is your desire to help me bury my dead, then listen to me. Ask Ephron, the son of Zochar, to give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, the one at the end of his field. He should sell it to me in your presence at its full value, and then I will have a burial site of my own for my wife, for Sarah. And that's Genesis 23:7-9. When the Jews were in Europe, the Europeans screamed, go to Palestine. When the Jews settled in the land of Israel, the Arabs screamed, go back to Europe. But the reality is that the Jews are in Israel to stay. Abraham started settling the land by buying a cave. So I'm saying sometimes you have to buy people out. And I think Trump and Elon and Jared and others are going to try to buy Putin off or Ukraine off somehow so they can end this war. And who knows what it'll take. They'll probably have to do land for peace also down in Israel. So just get ready for that. So what I'm saying is Gog War from Daniel 9:27. So it shall be at the end shall come like a flood until the end of war, Malchama, is determined in desolations, and he shall confirm. That's Gog War in there, Gog War. So that's starting in 27, a covenant, a brit, Ravim, love Ravim. So it's to the many great ones for a week. But in the middle of the week, he will bring an end to the sacrifices of Ak, which is a peace celebration offering, and then the Mincha, which would be an afternoon standard, probably the Tamid offerings, the morning and afternoon, and on the wing of the abomination. So basically, what I'm getting at is you need to purchase a peace deal to get to this time frame. You need the fear and trembling of war, but then you need a peace deal. And this is kind of like that peace deal, okay? You've got Trump and Elon and Jared and Putin and MBS vying for this. So we'll see what happens. But it matches up with prophecy, whether it's distinct in 1 Thessalonians 5:3 and Ezekiel 38:11, or kind of it looks like it in Daniel 9:27. Okay, so what's going on in the world then is Ukraine gets the green light from Biden to use U.S. long-range missiles. What's next? This is from Al Jazeera. And so I can't pin the tail on Obama for this, but it sounds like he pushed Biden into doing this. So, we were going along, and Putin brought in North Korean fighters to kill Ukrainians, and that ticked off Biden and I believe Obama. And so they said, well, we'll just give Kiev long-range American missiles to launch into Russia. Well, that ticked off Russia. So, has angered the Kremlin, which accused Washington, the globalists, of throwing oil on the fire. Absolutely. So this is from the 18th of November, 2024. Then, of course, Russia sent back ICBMs without nukes on them, but sent them back in and started burning parts of Ukraine and Kyiv. And so it sounds like Gog, but it's not necessarily Gog yet. But, and I'm arguing that Gog comes from Turkey, not and is running that caliphate, we'll call it. But Russia is part of stoking the war fires because Putin wants a part of this too. So Ukraine's Air Force says Russia fired an ICBM. Experts say the ICBM has never previously been used in war. Ukraine fired Western weapons into Russia this week. Tensions rising in 33-month-old war. So this is from Reuters again, from November 21st. And so it was an ICBM, first time ever. And they devastated that city. So let's look at that. And so this is a message on the right-hand side from Hal Turner. I don't trust him. He's a little bit of a Nazi. But according to the messages, the manufacturing plant was attacked. This was an industrial giant, the leader in rocket production in the former USSR. The plant manufactured many space and intercontinental missiles for the USSR. According to the messages, this plant no longer exists. It's just a mountain of dust. On the left-hand side, the Russian ambassador warns UK and US that imminent World War III war is on the way. And so the warning is coming constantly now. That's from the Mirror and again from Hal Turner. So basically, it's stoking up. And Medvedev reacts to video of hypersonic missile strike. His comment was on the way far right is, so that's what you wanted, huh? Well, you blank well got it, Medvedev. Okay? So Medvedev and others are commenting on how war seems to be what America wants and the globalists want. They want to make money, and they also want to kill Russians, which is an odd concept. Why would say Lindsey Grahamnesty want dead Russians? I mean, it's a sick thought. And I'm not a pacifist. I'm more of a war hawk, but it's ridiculous right now. So this is from RT Russia Today. U.S. military prepared for nuclear strikes. This is crazy. This is Slim Whitman, as you can see him riding the bomb, and I put president or the number 44 on it too. So the new doctrine that Moscow will have the right to consider the nuclear option if Russia or Belarus come under attack by conventional arms, even if such aggression creates a critical threat to their sovereignty or territorial integrity. If Mexico is launching weapons at us deep into the heart of Texas, there would be some fighting going on. And so this is a reasonable request from Russia. Don't put weapons on the border. But America, they want war badly. So this is RT again. Here's another article from Armstrong Economics. And I love him. His comment is, we need to take Biden, Harris, Blinken, and Austin. They must be removed from office instantly. And Blinken and his neocons are about to waste at least 100 million Americans and Europe for Zelensky. This is not an exaggeration. Russia is at full nuclear alert, and so is the USA. And he would know. He monitors all of these. He meets with world leaders all the time. So Biden is so incompetent to have control over those launch codes. It is going to start dressing like Zelensky and wants to be remembered as FDR. So this is NPR down below. NATO and Ukraine to hold emergency talks after Russia's attacked with the new missiles. So interesting. How close are we? Scott Ritter says very close. In fact, close to the point of no return. On the right-hand side, the missile that they used is a nuclear-capable missile system, and it had a conventional warhead, but it could be used for nuclear purposes. Putin basically said that this missile can cover all of Europe, and that in the future he will mirror every action by Ukraine and the West, that any escalation will immediately be responded to. That's from Scott Ritter and from RT. Interesting. Ritter is out all over the place talking about things, but it's just interesting to see this, how close it is. This is from the Economic Times. So this is basically the World Economic Forum. And what they're saying is Trump ally Musk's secret ties with Putin exposed. Very interesting, from October 25th, just before the election. And in the slides they have on the right-hand side, sources claim Putin asked Musk to avoid activating Starlink satellites over Taiwan for China's benefit. Interesting. Okay, the next one, the Kremlin reportedly made implicit threats toward Musk over his support for Ukraine, report suggests. Earlier, Musk publicly denied accusations of selling Starlink terminals to Russia during the Ukraine war. interesting. And then to the upper right-hand side, Musk's dual roles in U.S. business and space exploration elevate the stakes of these revelations. He's playing both sides. He is. There's no doubt about it. He does know who Putin is. Okay, you remember how a week earlier they said that Putin allegedly has spoken regularly with Trump. Now Putin, allegedly talks with Musk. All of this is not true. It is not true. This is some other guy, and I'm blanking on the name of him right now. But basically, it's interesting to see the players that Putin gets along well with Trump. He gets along fairly well with Musk. And those guys supposedly, according to Alex Jones, and I don't know if I can trust Alex, but he's sensing that Trump is holed up trying to work on a peace deal. So global exclusive, Trump, Elon Musk are working behind the scenes to broker a Ukraine-Russia ceasefire and major peace deal. Meanwhile, the desperate globalists are doing everything they can to escalate the conflict into a full world war. So you see how I predicted that there would be some skirmishes and things like that. I didn't predict a full world war, but basically that seemed to be what the globalists were talking about during the Summer Olympics. Now you have to have the peace deal after that. And I'm arguing that Musk is working on the mark of the beast, and I'm arguing that Trump is Revelation 17, the seventh. Okay, whether you call him a king or a mountain or a head, Trump seems to be the seventh. And Scott and Doug from my show Prophecy Roundtable complained that I sound like I'm prophesying. In this case, all I'm doing with Trump is saying that is what Dmitry Duduman said in terms of America is Revelation 17 and 18 and Jeremiah 50 and 51. So I'm just extrapolating from Dmitry that Trump would be the seventh and that the eighth would be the Antichrist coming from the seventh, the seven or the seventh. Okay, and so it's just interesting, but the peace deal is working. So Alex Jones, I just watched him a few minutes ago, and that's why I came on to do the video now. He doesn't have anything new. There is no direct proof that Trump is going to forge a deal. No, but we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and there is some time here. But it sounds like there's a secret global peace summit at Mar-a-Lago. So just that's Alex, and he's always working some angle. I like him. I'd like him to continue to broadcast because I believe in the freedom of information. But this is fairly recent here. So basically, in the meantime, the globalists, what they're doing, the Economic Times again, Donald Trump could achieve a historic Middle Peace deal, says Thomas Friedman, who backed Joe Biden. So this is from November 22nd, and the Economic Times again. And so it's just interesting. Friedman can't stand Trump, but he realizes that Trump has the ability to get peace over there. He has gravitas, and Biden has none. And so down in the lower left-hand side in the box there, Trump's opportunity in the Middle East peace talks. Friedman highlighted that Trump, despite his controversial tenure, is drawn to making significant deals. He's the deal maker with long-lasting impacts. He suggests that Trump's detailed plan for a two-state solution, which is a bad idea. God will curse us if we set up a two-state solution. But first presented in 2020, could be the blueprint for peace between Israel and Palestine. Friedman believes that if Trump revives this initiative, it could lead to the creation of a Palestinian state while preserving Israel's security as a Jewish democracy. It would be a peace deal, but it would cause us to be hurt because God would hurt us every single time, according to, Bill Koenig, William Koenig, and the Eye to Eye author. He knows that basically every single time the United States sides against Israel, God thumps us with some kind of a storm and other things like that. So, and in the meantime, the globalists are proofing NATO, Trump proofing, okay? So NATO, Ukraine, and the deep state in order to make Ukraine conflict problem so hard that President-elect Donald Trump will not be able to resolve it as he intends, he said. Trump has vowed to swiftly end the Ukraine conflict upon assuming office, and he can do it. One possibility would be to force Ukraine to drop its NATO ambitions and agree to freeze the conflict. According to reports, Moscow has ruled out the latter, insisting that all goals of its military operation, including Ukraine's demilitarization and denazification, must be fulfilled. That's from Russia Today again. It's just interesting to see the posturing, see the interplay back between peace and war and civil war and other things like that. Now we're going to go into Elon for just a little bit, because Elon showed up to work with Trump, and he's wearing all the occult symbols. And the weird symbol is it's an omega with an I. So the all-seeing eye, it's on our dollar bill, it's on other things like that. But the omega relates to the Hebrew letter Tav. It's like the cross also. And so it's just very interesting. This is from the Rise people, their YouTube channel. So they gave you the bigger picture of what these symbols have meaning. According to the sources that I'm monitoring, these symbols open up portals to demons. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And Elon sounds like he's on our side, but he's not. So and also, I believe that Trump is a speed bump, and so I believe that, well, on the left-hand side, the goal of the New World Order is a one world government, Revelation 13:7. One world leader, Revelation 13:2 and Daniel 7:4-7. One world religion, Revelation 13:8. One world currency, Revelation 13:16-18. Elon is on that side. He wants one world stuff, but he also wants peace in the meantime. So he's working both sides. He'll probably betray it. And I believe he's going to, well, I'll show you the slide in a second, but be involved with Neuralink and the Mark of the Beast. It's just how he works. So his nickname is Elon in the family. He's building these Grok and Grok 2, these announcements daily. He's coming up with AI. He's coming up with so many things. I think he's connected to the other side, to his spirit world. Okay, but Grok 2, state-of-the-art AI assistant with advanced capabilities in both text and vision and understanding, integrating real-time information through the X platform, accessible through the Grok tab on the X app. Compared to its predecessor, Grok 2 is more intuitive, steerable, versatile, and access a wide range of tasks, whether you're seeking answers, collaborating on writing, or solving coding tasks. It's amazing. Amazing. Elon is indirectly controlling the world. He's playing Putin, he's playing Trump, he's playing everybody right now, and he sleeps with ungodly women. Okay, he makes a lot of babies, which is good for the world, but there's something wrong with the guy. He's a very interesting guy, but he's not on God's side. There's no doubt about that. So this is the lady, Shalom Girl, on YouTube, and she says, okay, the boy's name was El Elyon, according to her, and she was basically his babysitter, okay, as he was a young boy, okay. And so another lady involved with raising him was named Imelda, and I asked her if he is the Antichrist. Shalom Girl did. And her real name is, oh, now I'm blanking on her name. I'm sorry. She didn't even blink as she said, no, but he will present the mark. And when you see him do that, the Antichrist will take the stage. That works out well with other prophecies, that you need the mark of the beast at about that midpoint when the Antichrist steps forward. And so Neuralink brain implant wins an FDA nod to tackle blindness. That's a messianic sign. He is in the messianic space when he does things like that. So it's just really, really interesting to see this going on. So I'll come up with Shalom Girl's name in just a minute here, but unfortunately I'm blanking on it. I should have written it in there. So anyway, I have interviewed her once. I'm trying to interview her for a second time. Okay, so this is about a mega point, which is that symbol that was on Elon's necklace. And so the omega point is the final step before the singularity takes place. Once we achieve or cross into singularity, which will be the first and truly major evolutionary step in mankind, we cease to be humans. In the near future, computers will surpass our collective intellect, and our only way to maintain our place in the universe will be to merge with them. When transhumanists speak about the omega point, they refer to the point when our use of science and technology will improve our human state, making conditions such as disability, suffering, disease, aging, and even death a thing of the past. Do you really need God at that point in time? So God has to stop us before we get to that point. You can't cheat death. And you can't change us from being human into something else, because God can't save you unless you're human. Okay? His mother's strange too. The symbolism from his mother is just bizarre. So basically, you've got his mother, but they're all part of this billionaire clique. And Jared just became a billionaire with his wife, and Bibi is. They love Jared. They love Jared. Why do we love Jared? Because there's a Superman aspect to him. Okay, he seems to come from kryptonite. The Krypton, and so the family business. His father went to jail, I believe. But anyway, um, Jared has a place under this topic. Time magazine knows his real idea. Married to Ivanka Trump and son-in-law of number 45 and 47. So, dear Jared Kushner, the Jewish people need you. Editorial from the Jerusalem Post from November 11th. They know that they need Jared Kushner to form peace deals in Israel. That for some reason he has the ear of MBS from Saudi Arabia and other leaders. And so through the Abraham Accords and countless behind-the-scenes efforts, you brought peace closer to reality and strengthened Israel's positions globally. Now, at this critical juncture, we need you once again. So it's just interesting that as Trump prepares his new administration, Kushner will be behind the scenes working on peace deals. Report Jared Kushner to be pivotal to Trump administration's Middle East efforts. Yes, absolutely. Arutz Sheva. So this is from November 15th of 2024. And Jared Kushner, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's son-in-law, is seen as central to the incoming administration's Middle East strategy, despite not taking any formal role within it, from CNN. So it's just interesting to see what's going on with Kushner. And so he's very tight with MBS, as I mentioned, from Saudi Arabia. MBS gave billions to Jared Kushner to run, as the Saudi investment fund had big doubts. Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's from April 10th of 2022. So the money's flowing to Jared, and he's in an odd position, and MBS is morphing too. His new style shift sets up a new world order strategy. He wants to be the peace broker. From November 22nd of 2024, from Bloomberg, MBS has played the role of peacemaker in the Middle East and has even forged a closer relationship with Turkey's Erdogan, whose intelligence services leaked a detailed account of the Khashoggi murder. The older, evolved MBS may be further emboldened by the looming change in Washington. During Donald Trump's first term, the Crown Prince maintained close ties to the White House. With Trump's return, MBS's standing in the international arena will surely be solidified. His cultivation of Trump and his inner circle, once seen as a risky bet on an unconventional president, has proven prescient. Wow. So MBS is part of the Line, which is their strange little building that they have that's going to be like, it's like Babylon, okay? The Line will tackle the challenges facing humanity in urban life today, shine a light on alternative ways to live, and create a model for nature. It's basically a prison, okay? But that's what humanity wants to be, in a prison. These are the billionaire players in their playground, and Elon is buddy-buddy with MBS. So it's just interesting how the line is occurring. I'm telling you that then once they solve the Ukraine Russia war, they will turn their sights on Israel, and Trump will bless Israel. And so what I'm telling you is that there will be a time when, based on Revelation 11, 1 through 2, when they will measure the temple area, and they will measure the holy, which is the naos, okay, not the Heron, which would be the buildings, which would be, and naos is the Holy of Holies, and it's very specific. And then also the altar, which is very specific, matzbeach in the Hebrew. And so it's just very interesting to watch how these things are happening. And so I believe that with Saudi Arabia, MBS, and others behind Kushner and Trump, will probably get some kind of a peace deal. Now, once again, when you trade land for peace, God punishes America for forcing that. And this will show you again that during the first and second temple time frames, you had stones that prove that only certain people can enter certain areas. Arabs and Gentiles, like Christians, will be banned from entering the holy place, the naos, okay? And so only eighth-day circumcised Jews may enter. So you'll have to be an Orthodox Jew to enter. So just keep that in mind. This is how it's always been in the past. So those things will occur based on how Revelation 11 is written. So who's the final beast? The leading candidate for the anti-Messiah is King Trump, Putin, Jared, MBS, Elon, who seems to be setting up the mark of the beast, the false prophet, Pope Francis, who I believe it is, King Obama, King Charles III, No, that's not him. But anyway, you can see because he's not involved with any of these negotiations. He's not going to be involved. Okay? If Trump and El Elyon can broker a peace deal, it'll be temporary. Then there will be Trump prophets that will try to posture themselves as being more powerful as a result. But it is interesting that the economists came out with this picture, and Trump isn't even president yet. They're already putting him in the place where he has to solve everything. That's how the world is. So the last verse that I'll cite is, the world is passing away. Do not love the world or things of the world. If someone loves the world, then love of the Father is not in him, because all these things of the world, the desires of the old nature, the desires of the eyes, and the pretensions of life are not from the Father, but from the world. For the world is passing away, it is, along with its desires. But whoever does God's will remains forever. 1 John 2:15 through 17. We're in the birth pangs. Not in the tribulation, or not in the great tribulation. They're screaming peace and safety. After that will come the Gog Magog wars and things like that. It'll get much worse. But there will be a time of peace and safety. You need to work on you and your family and your loved ones. Some wedding, sometime future is coming when Yeshua returns. You need clean garments. You can't be naked. It's going to be probably in the fall. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. It's a wedding, people. Get ready for it. Thank you very much for your time. Be blessed. And we'll see you again, hopefully in a week. God bless. Bye-bye.